Okay. Wait. There you go. Hey y'all, what's up? It's almeezyuh coming at you from my car. It's been a while since I did one of these. And I'm just, I'm just here on my way home from work. Well, home from work because I have a little office space that I work out of. That way it's easier for me to concentrate while working from home. So a lot of, oh my God, it's so hot in here. Hold on. Oh, y'all won't be able to hear me. Oh no, I'm gonna have to suffer. No, I'm just gonna have to deal. Okay. So I haven't posted like a software engineer specific video in a while, and y'all have not let me forget it. It just takes a lot longer for me to make these videos because with the other ones I can just be like, oh, got this idea, I can do it really quick. But with software engineering ones, I really put like my heart and soul into it because y'all are mean and y'all be dragging people and I don't want to get dragged. So anyways, today's video is going to be about what it has been like to start my job during the pandemic. And I pray that I don't get demonetized for saying pandemic, because apparently that's a thing. But anyways, yes, like, subscribe, you know the drill, and let's get into it. Alright, so first off, somebody asked me about how was onboarding, and I mean, it was fine. It was really no different than it would have been in person, except for the fact that it was not in person. They sent me my laptop and like my monitor and all of that kind of stuff. They sent it to my house. The only thing I didn't get is like a chair and a desk, but I would not have expected them to send me that. So I got all the stuff that I needed to work. I got all of my equipment like a week before, thankfully, because I'm sure there's some people who didn't get theirs in time, but your girl's special. People care about me, so they made sure that my stuff was on time for me, and I was able to set everything up really easily. It wasn't hard at all. I mean, it was just a really smooth experience, which was good because I don't think that anybody really thought that they would have to onboard people remotely, and that's definitely something that can be challenging. But for me, it was really simple. Everything was set up really well, so that was great. What else? Oh, like my orientation, I mean, it was just on Teams. Of course, we use Teams at Microsoft, so I did it on Teams. All of my like intro talks and my one-on-ones with my team and all of that, it was all on Microsoft Teams. So that was kind of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's definitely whack for me not to get my new girl in the office attention. I really like that. I really enjoy being the center of attention. So to not be able to get that in real life, like, it's kind of draining. Like, where's my applause? But it was pretty nice the first couple days. They did their best to make it like an in-office experience. So that was cool. Okay, so let's just talk about in general, right, the feelings of working remotely or starting your job right now. I don't know. So first of all, there's already the anxiety of starting a new job, right? Like, is it gonna click? Am I gonna work well with the team? Is it gonna be what they said it was gonna be in the interview? All that kind of stuff. But on top of that, you are starting a new job during a pandemic. So you already have like this daily anxiety of like, oh man, like, if I go to the grocery store today, am I gonna catch the virus and be in the hospital for the next 4 months and then have to go on sick leave like after I started this new job, and stuff like that. But also, just like I said, dealing with the thought of being the new person on the team, trying to catch up, trying to deal with everything. And being remote, I feel like you miss out on a lot of opportunities to really connect with people and build your network, so to speak. Because I mean, my team is my team, right? And they're gonna reach out and they're gonna say, hey, do you need help with this, blah blah blah, message me if you need help, blah blah blah. And that's all cool, but it's different when you can just get up and walk to their desk, right? It's a very different feeling. And for me personally, like, if I have to message somebody, I kind of feel like I'm bothering them, right? Like, I don't really know how to explain this, but I just like talking to people in person. Like, that's really my jam. When I'm at home, I just want to be alone, but when I'm with people, I want to be with people. Now you don't even have that chance. So yeah, it's just a lot of mixed feelings in general when you just start remotely. So yeah, it's just a lot of anxiety, I guess, on top of living through a pandemic. It's just a lot. It just is. Really hard when you are a person who constantly worries what other people think about you to start a job remotely. And I don't mean like, oh, do they think I'm nice? Do they think my hair looks cute? Blah, blah. Like, no, I mean, like, does this person hate me? Like, if I make one tiny mistake, will this person, like, try to get me fired? Like, will they? You know? And maybe I'm a little nuts in thinking that people will even go that far, but I'm just like, do people think I'm stupid? Like, if I ask you a question, are you gonna think I'm dumb? And I know, I just started, but these are all things that I worry about, you know? So it's really hard for me, I guess, to message people and ask them questions that I assume are very simple questions, right? And they've been working there way longer than me. So most questions that I ask would definitely be simple to them. But, like, is it too simple of a question? And so I just feel like working remotely, you don't really pick up on people's vibes, right? Like, it's much harder to tell if somebody's being fake by a camera than it is in real life, because you miss out on the body language, especially if they don't use their camera. So, like, if I'm talking to you and I'm like, oh yeah, no, like, definitely put that right there, and that's gonna be great. Like, yeah, no, you're great. Like, you know, do you know what I'm saying? Like, when people I think you're stupid, and so they pretend like they're encouraging you, but they're really not. They're like, are you stupid? Like, why are you even asking me this? And I have not experienced this at all. Like, my team is really nice and all of that, but the way that my mind is set up, I'm always worried that people don't like me, or that, like, they really wish I would leave them alone. So to combat that, I try to talk to people at the beginning of meetings before they start, or at the end, and just ask them questions about, like, their life without being too invasive. Hold on, I'm at the Dunkin' Donuts. The making connections thing, right? I'm just gonna wait to finish talking to y'all, because if I roll up and I'm talking to y'all and she thinks I'm weird, like, then what? Now the girl at Dunkin' Donuts thinks I'm weird. Can't have that. Oh, this is big. Thank you. Alright, here's the drink. Let's see. You know what? Not to be that person, but this would taste very good with some Bacardi in it. Oh, right, that's what I was saying. So basically what I try to do right now is just gotta keep myself safe. Basically what I've been trying to do is just talk to people before meetings, after meetings, to get some FaceTime, you know, with everybody on the team. And that's really it. That's the most I can do. You know, I'll message people, but it's kind of weird to me to send somebody a message and just be like, hey, how was your weekend? Right? Because, like, in real life, on a Monday, you might just walk to somebody's desk or, like, see them in the hall and be like, hey, how was your weekend? But to send somebody a Teams message about how their weekend was, is it that serious? Like, it's not. And on top of that, I already know how their weekend was. They stayed in the house. maybe they went on a hike. There's not a lot of options these days, so I don't know. Everything is just a mess. Next thing, I've really been trying to establish good habits working remotely. So I take a very long time to get ready in the morning. I mean, part of it is just me moving slow, but the other part is that I do a lot of stuff, right? Like my skincare that I like to do takes 10 to 15 minutes, and that's just my face, right? So if I don't shower at night and I have to do my skincare and I have to do my hair, which I always have to do my skincare and my hair regardless, then that's a good hour just for shower, skincare, you know, brushing my teeth and hair. And then if I want to put on makeup, that's another 30 minutes. And then to get dressed, that's a good 10 minutes, as long as I have my outfits picked out. And if I don't, then that's 15. Yeah, so it's just a lot. And yes, I do still like to get dressed right now, even though I'm not going anywhere, just to make me feel a little bit normal. So yeah, so I will wake up. I tried to establish a routine when I first started. I've been working almost 2 months now. A little bit more than 2 months now. So I was waking up, you know, getting dressed, blah, blah, blah. And girl, I got tired, okay? So I kind of stopped doing all that, but I'm getting back in the habit of making sure I get dressed and all of that, just to feel a little bit normal. What was I gonna say? So my bare minimum for myself is like logging in at the same time every day, making sure I take a lunch break, just stuff like that. It's just things that make me feel normal, things that make sure I'm not overworking myself. And thankfully I don't have like a lot of pressure to overwork myself. So yeah. Aside from connections, something else that's kind of hard is establishing the habits you would have in the office, right? If I was going to the office, I would have a commute. And so in my commute, I'd be like, okay, I know I need to leave the house by this time. Otherwise, I'm going to get to work super late and blah, 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 blah. But working from home, working remotely, I don't really have that same like pressure, because nobody sees when I come into the office. Nobody generally cares if I log on at 7:01 or at 7:13, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. But just establishing like those kind of habits in my mind kind of helps me feel like, yes, you do work at an establishment. You're not just doing this for fun. And so part of the reason why I started working out of my office space is because it was just really hard for me to concentrate at home. Like, I'm sitting right next to my cell phone, my Switch, my dog, like just everything. So I just have a lot of distractions around me, and it's just easier to not have that so accessible. Because even if I say, oh, I'm not going to work in my room, I'm going to go work in the kitchen. I mean, my room is like a 1 minute walk away. So if I want to go play my Switch, I can go play my Switch, you know? So in order to just stop all that for me, I just worked at an office. And the other thing is, I just really don't like working at home. Like, I don't like being forced to work from home. I like the flexibility of like, oh, today I really need to stay at home, or oh, I really don't feel that good and I don't want to go into an office, but I would be fine to work from home, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe if you have really bad cramps on a day or something like that. So I like that flexibility, but in general, I like to go to an office. That way when I leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, my work is at work, my home is at home. I don't mix the vibes. I don't mix the auras. They are what they are. And now, I saw this tweet that was like, we should stop calling it working from home and start calling it living at work, because that's really what it feels like to me. So that's why I got my office space, and that's why I try to keep them separate and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, and often I'll just be sitting and I'll have this thought, like, I mean, does any of this even matter? Like, are we going to make it out of this? At the end of the day, will these things matter? Somebody just pulled up next to me, and they are looking at me. You never seen a person vlog before? Oh, so yeah, it's just, you know, those pandemic intrusive thoughts. They be in here. That's why my forehead is so big. It's full of thoughts. And on that same train of thought, look at me. A big issue starting a job during a pandemic is that you don't know what you're doing, right? It's a new job, new code base, whatever. You don't know what you're doing, but it's really hard to concentrate on anything for all the reasons I just said. But it's worse because, okay, let me tell y'all how my brain works. If I don't know something and I know I need to know it, I will try to pay attention to you. I will make sure I pay attention to you. But then if it sounds like something that I'm not going to get in this 1 30-minute meeting that you have scheduled, I kind of just zone out. I'm like, you know what? You are going to have to explain this to me again anyway. So I'm going to just clock out for now and I'll catch up with you later. Like, that is how my brain works. So in order for me to pay attention, I have to like do stuff. Like, I have to take notes, even though I'm not big on going back and reading my notes, because if I remember it, I remember it. If I don't, I'm just gonna ask it again anyway. I have to write notes, right? I have to make sure I have a pen and pad out, and that's really weird to me to do. That's weird to me to do in general, because I feel like all my attention should be on the speaker, but now it's on like writing. And so that's one way I keep my concentration going, right, by writing notes. Another one that I had to do was to just put my phone like in a totally separate area from me. And if I want to use my phone, then I have to walk to that area, use it in that area, and leave it in that area. Now, some days I am not good at that, okay? Y'all know how I am. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and act like I got this all down packed. Like, at the end of the day, I still think about how this is a pandemic and I never know what's going to happen after. So might as well read a few jokes on the TL, you know what I'm saying? But I still got to do my job. So that's one of the things that I use, is just like having my phone in a completely different space, or anything that I find distracting, and just only using it in that space. And in that way, I'm kind of doing the compartmentalizing that I was talking about earlier, where, you know, I have work over here, I have fun over here, vibes don't mix, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of contributes to that in that way. Oh, one more way I do my concentration. If you use Outlook, there's this thing called focus time, and Cortana will automatically book it for you. But I think there's a little like button in the task, in the toolbar up there somewhere, that says focus, or like focus time. And so I'll block out time on my calendar, one, so people can't schedule a meeting with me. I don't get invited to too many meetings, but sometimes I'm just like, did you really need to book this? And especially because I work in a different time zone, I'm like, did you really have to book this at 6:30 Central Time? You really had to do that when my entire schedule was clear? So anyways, I book my focus time, and I tell myself, okay, I don't care what level of productivity you are at, like, from, you know, during the day, but during these 6 hours that you have blocked off, and it's not like one big 6 hour block of time, it's like maybe 2 hours here, 2 hours there type of thing. You are going to be at peak productivity. Like, you are not going to do anything but work. And that has been very helpful, because it's much easier for me to be at my peak productivity for like 4 hours a day and then kind of roll back the other 4 hours than it is for me to try to be peak productivity all day. Like, one, that's a special day if I'm that productive all day. But I mean, like, I don't know, I prefer some power hours of productivity versus like a lull of productivity all day. Alright, so the last thing that has kind of hit me during this pandemic is that I've started using my camera during meetings. So before, you would never catch me on camera in a meeting, like, ever, because you see me in real life, you know what I look like. What you get is what you get, baby. Like, what's the point? But now that we're in the pandemic and I'm starting a new job, it's like these people actually don't know what I look like. They only know what I sound like. Which you might think I'm a boy if you just hear me talk. So I try to use my camera as much as possible when I'm looking presentable. I don't want to rob my coworkers of never getting to see this beauty. So I try to turn on my camera as much as possible, but like some days it's just an L. Like you're not gonna see me, but try to turn it on as much as possible, because body language and facial expressions definitely help you connect with people more, help you understand what people are saying. And I'm definitely a big facial expressions person. It's not that I can't control them, it's that I don't even try. So if you talk to me, then like, oh, she understands what I'm saying, or oh, she absolutely hates what I just said, or oh, she's good with that. Like, you will know from my facial expression how I feel about what you're saying. But that, I don't know. I just think it helps you make better connections with people. I guess my last thing is that I've really been feeling like I haven't been doing anything. I've been doing everything that they told me to do, but it also feels like I'm doing nothing. Like, it feels like I should be doing so much more and that I can be doing so much more, but also I haven't been working that long at all in the grand scheme of things. So that's something else I have to get over. And because I'm at home, I don't want them to think that I'm doing nothing, right? So I'm always like, do I need to like do something extra? Should I like work on some wild side project and just show my manager that the next time I talk to them? That way they know, like, I know I didn't have a lot of work that you gave me, but I also did this thing just because I didn't have anything to do and I didn't want to just sit and be idle. But I think that's just kind of a part of working remote. And at the last place I worked, they didn't really trust us a lot when we worked remote. Like, we had to log in and send an email saying what we were gonna do for the day, and then at the end of the day we had to send another email saying what we got done. And it was very like micromanaging versus here. And right now it's kind of just like, okay, do your work and just get the work done. And I'm like, how are you gonna know I did any work? How are you gonna know? Well, if I did nothing, I just pretend like I did something. You would never know. Yeah, so I don't know, trying to overcompensate just because you started remotely. I think a lot of us are going to be scarred by this, but I don't really have any solutions to that. So in conclusion, wear a mask so that we can go back to the office and stop doing this weird onboarding thing where I have to meet all my coworkers on Teams. Also, a weird thing that I think about, how tall are people? How tall are you? That's something I always wonder when I see people online. Like, in terms of, I don't know why it's important to me, but I just want to know. I always feel like I give off tall people energy, and I'm not tall. So I just feel like people think I'm tall. I don't want them to think that, because it's not true. Okay, so at that point, I'm going to stop talking because I don't think it's making sense anymore. Best of luck to y'all. If you have any tips about working through the pandemic, leave them in the comments. And that's really it. Y'all got a big glimpse into how weird I am about a lot of things. Please don't try to diagnose me with anything in the comments. I am already self-conscious enough. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.